Hey everyone, this is Sunny Justice from It's a Crime and Shame. So I'm going to show this video here from Harsh Reality, part of it, or most of it anyway, and you guys can judge for yourself. But it was information that was sent in to him, and it was given an account of the 911 phone call that had happened on November 13th of 2022. There is a couple things there, or at least something there that doesn't make sense to me, but for all purposes, I think that a lot of what is in this video is stuff that we had heard and that makes sense about the phone call and about a person being unconscious, as we all know as well. But I'm going to let you give a listen, and then I'll tell you during the video where it is that doesn't make sense to me. Please give this video a like, a share, and a subscribe if you have not subscribed. Again, we are just reporting information that we come across. It's up to you, the viewer, the individual, to decide what you want to believe, if you believe it's true or not true. That part's up to you. We're just going to provide the information that's out there, and people that are sending in what is they think or are saying is factual information, but we don't deem anything factual unless, of course, it comes out by the LE.
Right, two people who claimed to be at the house with the roommates when the bodies were discovered quickly came to the surviving roommate's defense and wrote that the roommates woke up, went upstairs to the kitchen and noticed the sliding glass door was open, and it was during that time they discovered Ethan. They didn't say where he was found on that floor, but that it was so horrific that both girls went into shock and ran out of the house.
Okay, so to me, this is where something doesn't make sense to me with exactly how that went, and you'll see why. OFC Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. OFC Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. OFC Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Zaina's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Zaina Kernoodle's. Hereafter, Kernoodle's room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernoodle's, laying on the floor. Kernoodle was deceased with wounds which have appeared to be caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin. Hereafter, Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined as according to the autopsy report by Spokane. Okay, so my thing is this. If, of course, that they basically saw Ethan, well, why wouldn't they talk about Zaina, though, first? Because Zaina was the one on the floor in front of the basically bathroom bedroom area right there first. They wouldn't have seen Ethan till after the fact. So that makes me ponder why they're talking about Ethan first in all of this.
One of the roommates fainted and the other was beyond hysterical and not making any sense. Their frantic actions while coming out of the house caught the attention of people walking past. The people responding on the victim's IG claimed to be two of those people. They implied that the roommate who fainted had already dialed 911, but was so distraught that she fainted before she could give any info that the dispatcher could understand. The info that the bystander who picked up the roommate's phone could give the 911 dispatcher was she just saw her friend run out of the house and faint. So that obviously clarifies why the call to 911 stated that someone was unconscious, not that someone, that was something that a lot of people had queried before. So that's how the 911 call was made on the roommate's phone and by someone else, and why the call went out for an unconscious person. While that bystander was on the phone with 911, the other roommate was hysterically trying to explain that something was wrong with Ethan. By this point, several more people had stopped to see what was happening, and one or two of them went into the house to see if they could help him. There were multiple people in the yard at that time, and those people began contacting their friends that someone in the house was badly hurt. Someone called Ethan's brother Hunter to tell him something was wrong with his brother because he lived close to the house, and someone called one of the other victims' boyfriends, as he was also Ethan's best friend. I didn't go into detail on if either of those boys had arrived before the paramedics did, but it did kind of sound like they did. They didn't go into detail on what kind of injuries Ethan suffered. They also didn't say if anyone went to check on the other roommates before the paramedics arrived, but it's somewhat implied that someone had. The only details they gave about the scene itself was that it was incomprehensibly bloody. While those people were in the house checking on Ethan and possibly the other roommates, the paramedics arrived to a very chaotic scene, believing they were to assess an unconscious person outside, but they were redirected to go inside to help someone who was hurt very badly. So they walked into the house unaware that it was a crime scene and contaminated most of everything on the second floor. It doesn't sound like the roommates were roaming throughout the house carelessly contaminating everything, fully aware that their friends had been murdered. It sounds like the scene was contaminated by numerous people who were trying to help, unaware and unable to comprehend what they were looking at, and that.
As always, please leave your comments in the comment section of this video. Give us your thoughts and what exactly you think. We are not claiming anything to be factual. We are just handing out the information by people that are claiming that they have information. Anyways, please give again a like and a share and subscribe if you could. Also, don't forget tonight's live at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on It's a Crime and Shame. And on Wednesday, we will have MJ who will be on here, which is the very controversial Idaho audio that was debunked. And she will be on here to, again, tell us exactly what happened and that in fact that it was misused to mislead people.